If your company's paying you in stock and you don't really have any idea what that means for you, then this video is for you. About a week ago, I made another video going over RSUs in detail, but the video was a little long. It was around 13 minutes, so I'm going to try and keep this one nice and condensed, right around 4 or 5. Basically, I just want you to understand what you're getting, when you're getting it, and what Uncle Sam's going to take from you when you do get it. RSU stands for Restricted Stock Unit. It's a form of equity compensation that's become really popular here recently, especially at the big tech firms. Think Amazon, Meta, Google, Tesla, the list goes on. If you're working at any mid to large size company and you're a pretty highly compensated individual, there's a chance that these restricted stock units are a part of your compensation. So let's dive into it. An RSU is basically a promise from your employer saying, hey, if you stick around and meet this criteria, we're going to give you shares of our company stock. That's it. Pretty simple. It's a promise of a future stock. Here's something that trips people up. Whenever you get your RSU grant, you don't actually receive the stock. You don't own anything yet. You can't sell it. You don't get dividends on it. You don't have voting rights on it. It's nothing. It's restricted. That's what the R in RSU stands for. You're essentially holding an IOU from the company. The way you go from I actually own this stock is through something called a vesting schedule. Vesting is just the process of earning ownership of those shares over time. Most companies use a time-based vesting schedule, meaning you have to stay employed for a certain amount of time before the shares become yours. Makes sense. It's a reward, right? The most common setup you'll see is a 4-year vesting schedule with a 1-year cliff. So what that means is nothing vests for that first year, and then 25% of the shares vest all at once. And the remaining 75% vests gradually, usually quarterly or monthly, over the next 3 years. Let me give you a quick example. Say your company grants you 1,000 RSUs on a 4-year schedule. Year 1, nothing happens. On your 1-year anniversary, 250 shares vest at once and are now yours. From there, you might get about 62 shares every quarter until the 1,000 shares are fully vested in yours at the end of year 4. And here's the kicker. If you leave the company before your shares vest, you lose them. Those unvested RSUs go back to the company. This is by design. Think about it. It's meant to keep you around. That's why they're called golden handcuffs. Now, this is where RSUs get a little complicated, the tax side of things. This is where people are caught off guard, so pay attention here. When your RSUs vest, the fair market value of those shares on your vesting date is treated as ordinary income. That means it'll get added to your W-2, just like Social Security, just like your salary. You're going to owe federal, state, Medicare, Social Security on that amount. Most employers handle this by using a method called sell to cover. When your shares vest, your company automatically sells a portion of them to cover the tax withholding and then deposits the rest of it into your brokerage account. Here's the problem though. Because RSUs are considered supplemental income, your company typically withholds at a 22% flat federal rate. But a lot of people receiving RSUs are in a tax bracket higher than 22%, which means the withholding might not be enough to cover that tax bill. So you could end up with a surprise tax bill when you file. Not a nice surprise. That's why it's really important to plan for this ahead of time. Whether that's adjusting your W-4 withholding, making estimated quarterly tax payments, or just setting aside some extra cash when your shares vest, again, to cover those taxes. Now, say all of your shares vest. Now, once all the shares are vested and in your account, if you hold them, they go up in value, you can be charged for a capital gain. If you hold a year after vesting, you will qualify for that lower long-term rate. And if you sell within a year, any gain is going to be taxed as ordinary income also. Your cost basis is whatever the stock was worth on that vesting date. So once your RSUs vest and you actually own the shares, what should you do? Well, you have 2 options, hold or sell. If you hold, you're betting that your company stock will continue to go up. And hey, maybe it will, but keep in mind, you already have a huge piece of your financial life tied up in your company. Your salary, your benefits, your career trajectory. Adding a concentrated stock on top of that is a lot of eggs in one basket. A lot of advisors, myself included, would tell you to think about it this way. If somebody handed you a check for whatever your RSUs are worth, would you go buy all of your company stock with that money? If your answer is no, then it might make sense to diversify. There's no one-size-fits-all answer here. It depends on your financial situation, your goals, your risk tolerance, and your tax picture. But the important thing is to have a plan. Don't let your RSUs just pile up in your account just because you forgot about them or you feel like you don't know what to do. If you found this helpful, feel free to follow me. I made another similar video about RSUs a little bit longer that goes a little bit more in depth earlier. Thanks for watching.